Stop blaming your metabolism the real reason you can't gain weight. I used to be skinny. I used to be super skinny, for a matter of fact. I was skinny until I was like 15 years old. And I blamed my metabolism for the reason that I was skinny. And eventually I had to shatter that myth through my own education and through learning how to put on size myself. So for those of you who don't know, I've been lifting for 15 years as a completely drug-free natty lifter. And I have kind of figured out how muscle building works in the case of young natural guys who are trying to put on drug-free muscle. So if that sounds like you, if you feel like you fit that demographic, this video is definitely for you, as well as the rest of this channel. With this video, I'm going to try to help you understand why you're stuck, go over some genetic limits that will help you build real, lasting, natural muscle for the rest of your life. The plan here is to kind of expose the metabolism myth. We'll go over some real reasons why it is a myth, and kind of go over a no BS roadmap to consistent growth. For those of you who are still blaming your metabolism, if you are frustrated, if you feel like you're not getting results, you feel like it's someone else's fault, it's not yours, it's your metabolism's fault, that's the reason why I'm skinny. Maybe you still feel small even though you feel like you eat a lot, or there's so much misinformation out there and you don't know what to trust. This video is also for you. And what I want you to imagine is seeing your new muscle in the mirror, seeing what your new physique looks like. Imagine being able to walk around with confidence because you've actually put on size. You're not that skinny twig anymore. Like, you actually look good with a t-shirt. Imagine what it would feel like to be able to control your gains and not just blame your metabolism as an excuse. If that does sound cool to you, there's more information just like it. You can check that out in the link in the description below. So let's go over it real quick. The metabolism myth exposed. It's a convenient lie. Metabolism isn't the issue. You're not special. This belief kills progress. I don't know where it comes from or where the notion comes from, but a lot of guys blame their metabolism for their lack of gains and their lack of size. The truth is that I forget the exact number, so don't quote me here, but it's something like 96% of the population has like a regular metabolism. Like, a lot of you guys who are skinny, you just say, oh, my metabolism is too fast. I digest food too fast. Like, that's not the case. We're talking about, like, there's a very, very, very small percentage of the population who actually has a faster metabolism than the rest of the population. I doubt you're one of those people. You are probably just a skinny, young, natural dude who is blaming your metabolism and lack of appetite for your lack of gains. But the good thing is that you don't have to stay that way forever. You can completely switch your mindset. And there's a couple tips and hacks that you can take in order to get over the fact that you think your metabolism is the issue. And there's some actual things that you can do instead that will help you get your calories in, get over your lack of appetite, and actually get real natural gains as a young, natural, skinny dude trying to build drug-free muscle. So let's go over it. Let's kind of get into it. Having that metabolism myth that you rely on to blame your reasons for not having gains is stopping you from the real solutions, and it also fosters your defeat. Because if you consistently blame your metabolism for your lack of gains, there's a good chance that you are not going to look for an actual solution, and you're just going to settle with the fact that you're going to be skinny forever. You don't have to do that. I use this excuse myself. Back early in the day, I just thought my metabolism was too fast as well too. So no matter how much I ate, I felt like I wasn't putting on weight. I wasn't getting any size, and I would just blame my metabolism for that rather than actually searching for a real fix for the problem. And the truth is that a lot of people start here as well. I've had plenty of clients come to me and tell me that their metabolism is too fast, that they can't get any size. And I've had to go over this multiple times with different people and tell them, like, hey, there's a strong chance that your metabolism isn't the issue. You just lack the right knowledge and the right tools and right strategies in order to actually put on muscle if you're a young, natural, skinny dude trying to build drug-free muscle. So let's kind of go into it further. The real reasons you're not gaining weight and how to fix them. A big issue and a common issue is that you're just not eating consistently. You're not applying true progressive overload, or you're neglecting recovery. These are a couple of the main issues when it comes to not gaining any weight as like a young natural lifter. If you're not eating consistently, basically if you're not getting in your calories every single day, you're not hitting your protein intake goals for the day, you're not going to grow. I don't care how much you train, how much effort you put in, how many hours you spend in the gym all week. You could spend 100 hours in the gym if you want to. I don't care. If you don't eat, if you're not hitting your calorie goals for the day as well as your protein goals for the day, you're not going to grow. I don't care who you are. So that's one thing. Focus on eating consistently. Focus on achieving your calorie goals every single day of the week. And I promise you the gains will start coming in. Another issue is that a lot of you guys don't apply progressive overload to your workouts. For those of you who don't know, I'll explain progressive overload real quick, real briefly. Progressive overload is basically when you go to the gym, you either try to get stronger by doing more reps on an exercise, doing more sets on an exercise, doing more weight on an exercise, or shortening the rest period in between your sets. If you focus on one out of those four things, or maybe multiple at once if you can, I promise you if you combine that with proper eating, like I mentioned earlier, you will start seeing gains. The other thing that young, natural, skinny guys who are drug-free lifters struggle with is neglecting recovery. This is a big issue because as a drug-free lifter, especially if you're younger and you're a skinny guy and you're trying to build drug-free muscle, if you neglect your recovery, you're not going to grow as well. I always tell my clients that recovery is just important as nutrition, and nutrition is just important as your training. If you neglect any of those three, your gains are going to they're going to lack. They're not going to lack. Well, they are going to lack, but your gains aren't going to be as good as if you don't do all three of these things all together. Recovery is super important because it's the time where your body actually repairs and builds muscle. Muscle isn't built in the gym. It's built after the gym. So it's built in the kitchen when you properly eat, and it's built in the recovery phase too. So that's when you sleep. That's when you have your rest days, etc., etc. And like I just said, recovery days and proper recovery is just as important for any natural lifter out there, because if you're not on gear, your body is not going to be able to recover as quickly compared to those guys who are on gear, who can work out every single day and recover the same day. It's not the same if you're a natural lifter. You need to have the proper amount of rest to properly let your muscles build or your body build the muscle that it needs. So let's go over a couple steps here that we can do to solve these problems. For eating is to stop underestimating your intake, stop skipping meals, and instead focus on structured, consistent caloric surplus. So for those of you who guess on your calories, stop guessing, get a scale, start tracking your calories. Stop skipping meals. A lot of you guys skip meals and then try to pound in all this food at the end of the night before the day ends. And it's a bad strategy, because a lot of the times if you do that, you're not going to get in your calories for the day. Rather, instead, what I recommend is to eat throughout the day and balance your food throughout the day. That way, you're more likely to hit your calories for the day. The other thing is to make sure you're in a caloric surplus. So what does that mean? That means learning how to track your calories, learning your maintenance calories, and making sure that you're in a caloric surplus every single day. Now, training. Let's go over training, not pushing hard or tracking, no forced adaptation. What is the fix here? It's a structured program and daily tracking. So when I say not pushing hard or not tracking, what does that mean? That means that you're not putting in enough effort in the gym. In other words, you're not challenging your muscles to grow. And what do I mean for not tracking? That means you're not applying progressive overload because you're not tracking your exercises and your lifts. In other words, if you want to apply progressive overload, you need to know what you hit last week on an exercise. So if you benched 100 pounds last week, next week, if you benched 100 pounds last week, that means this week you should focus on benching 110 pounds. Super easy, super simple. It goes for any exercise. And then on the other hand, if you can't go up in weight, say you benched 100 pounds for 10 reps last week, this week, if you can't go up in weight, let's focus on benching 100 pounds for 11 reps instead of 10 reps. So you see what I did there? I increased the reps because I felt like I could increase the weight. Either way, you're still applying progressive overload, you're still getting stronger, you're still growing. Recovery, we're talking about poor sleep, high stress, no rest. How do you fix that? You fix it with prioritizing your sleep, stress management, and strategic rest. So I recommend everyone get 7 to 9 hours of sleep. 7 is the bare minimum. Like if you can get more than 7, please do it. If you can get 8, 9, or higher, do that every single night. If you're getting 7, I still feel like you could bump it up to 8. Stress management, basically the more stressed your body is, the harder it is, the harder it's going to be for your body to put on muscle and build that muscle in your recovery. So do your best to manage your stress. I don't know. I don't care what you do. I don't know. Meditate, play video games, listen to music, walk your dog, play basketball, hang out with your girlfriend, hang out with your wife. I don't know. Do whatever it is that you do in your life to negate stress, and I promise your gains will be better as well. The last thing is strategic rest. So make sure you have rest days. If you don't have rest days, make sure you have really, really, really good recovery and rest strategies. So that could be things like active rest, active recovery, which is lightweight activities that get the blood pumping and blood flowing, but you're not necessarily destroying your muscles. So that's things, for example, like walking, swimming, walk your dog, shoot basketball. I don't know, play ping pong. Ping pong's not super intense. Don't play tennis because you're kind of running around. Like, don't go sprinting, or if you do go on a jog, make sure it's super manageable, super light pace, that type of thing. It's basically anything that can get the blood pump or blood flowing and blood pumping without killing your muscles too much. So that's about it. Video is getting a little long here. We'll do a quick recap. Basically, we went over the metabolism myth, exposed, why it's a convenient lie, and we also went over a couple things that you could do to get over your belief that metabolism is a myth. And there's, these are concrete ideas and tips and strategies that you can actually apply to your life. So if you haven't applied any of these things, I recommend apply them all. They're super useful. I do all these things myself, and I recommend my clients do the same thing as well. So that was a lot of information. Hopefully you guys are able to absorb all that in. If that's not enough information and you're looking for more, I offer a complete A to Z program that covers everything you could need if you are a young, natural, skinny guy trying to build drug-free muscle. If that sounds like you, this program is literally crafted and designed for people like you, people like me, who I used to be back in the day, but now I'm big and swole. So if you want to put on some real size, build drug-free muscle, and change your whole physique, change your body, feel free to click the link in the description below. Down there you can learn more. Totally free, doesn't cost you anything to check it out. Give it a shot, let me know what you think. If not, peace out guys, I'll see you in the next video. See you on the next one.